Hello and welcome to the United Stand. Who will be Manchester United's biggest summer signing this summer, funnily enough? And it's not going to be who you think it is. A lot of you have Snapchatted, you've commented, but there is big news in relation to this. We were going to do a preview actually, but there's been so much released tonight that I think it'd be silly to do it really. So when we're talking about the biggest summer signing for Manchester United and who it might be, I firmly believe that the biggest summer signing for Manchester United will be the biggest summer signing, full stop. I don't think anybody's going to beat the record, and I think if anyone is, it will be Manchester United. Now, there are obvious names: Griezmann, Sanchez, Neymar, all of which, in the last few hours, there's been quite big developments from very credible sources, some of them from the actual players' mouths. Also, if you're looking at a player that might not come to Manchester United, that might break the transfer record and be the biggest summer of the signing, I would probably say Eden Hazard to Chelsea. Is that going to happen? £100 million. Real Madrid ex-president Calderon has said that Real Madrid have got the money to do it. No, I'm not convinced they do. They didn't fancy going toe-to-toe with us over Pogba. Let's see. I think Manchester United will break it. But also, big, massive news on a current Manchester United player. We'll talk about that in a couple of minutes. But first of all, who will be Manchester United's biggest transfer this summer? The biggest summer signing? The obvious one, and I would say over 80% of you who replied to this comment on Twitter this afternoon said, Griezmann, £90 million, back of the net, let's all go home, sit down, Mark. Well, I'll tell you what. Di Marzio, who's a man I've got a lot of time for and is very credible when it comes to Manchester United, has come out in relation to an article he's done on Lacazette to Atletico Madrid. He says that Bayern Munich are in the box seat when it comes to Antoine Griezmann moving this summer. Now, you can put it into that category of Kylian Mbappe coming to Manchester United, and Di Marzio said that 3 days ago. I probably wouldn't have believed that until Di Marzio said it, and it still might not happen. I wouldn't believe that Griezmann is Bayern Munich are in the pole position to get Griezmann either. I think if he's not coming to Manchester United, Bayern Munich does suit him, and they're my biggest fear, to be honest. But it wasn't that long ago that Griezmann said, and this is where, I respect Di Marzio, and he was very, 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 very correct on most deals last summer. But Griezmann actually said about 2 months ago, or maybe even a month ago, I won't be going to Real Madrid or Barcelona. I'm not going to the German league because I can't remember why he said it, but it was something about it's not a very competitive league, and he doesn't want to go to France yet. And obviously he said the problem with England is the weather. So that's from Griezmann's mouth. I think Bayern Munich suits Griezmann. When you think about Ribéry, Robben, he'd fit in perfectly, and they're coming towards the end of their career. But the big issue with Bayern Munich going for Griezmann is, can they afford him? Well, yes, they can, but £90 million, that's what it's going to cost. Atletico Madrid aren't about to bend over and say, take him from us. There's a £90 million release clause, and then it becomes Griezmann's choice. So Manchester United, we know they can afford that. Manchester City probably can as well. PSG can. Real Madrid probably can. He won't go there. Barcelona, I don't know whether they can if they're going to keep Neymar, Suarez and Messi. So Bayern Munich, I don't think they'd pay £90 million on a player, but it's interesting that Di Marzio says it, and we'll feed it out to you so you can, think what you like about it. I don't see it happening, but it's an interesting development. So maybe Griezmann won't be the big signing. And to be honest, there are a lot of Manchester United fans who are starting moving away from the Griezmann story and thinking, you know what, is this just a big Gareth Bale story that's been building and building for a long time, that actually there's no substance to it and he will not come to Manchester United? So maybe Griezmann won't be the big signing. So when you move away from that, and you maybe think Alexis Sanchez, well, I'll tell you straight for now, Alexis Sanchez won't be our big summer signing for two reasons, really. One, he's only got a year left on his contract. I've heard Arsenal fans going, you're not getting him, and nobody's getting him for less than £50 million. As I've said countless times now, Arsenal, you'll be lucky to get 25 million. Of course, Sanchez is probably worth about 50 million, maybe even a bit more. He's only, 27, 28? But he's got a year left on his contract because your club is rubbish and has got no idea how to pin people down or deal with their contracts early. So you're going to get one shot at getting some money for Sanchez. It's going to be this summer. In January, he can speak to people for free. You get £25 million, you've done very well. So he's not going to be the big summer signing of the summer. He might be on reputation, but certainly not on value. He's not going to break any records because Arsenal are just not going to get a fee for him of any note. However, the second strand to this, and I've said this quite consistently about Alexis Sanchez, He could come to Manchester United. Arsenal can't stop it. No matter what they say about we wouldn't sell to Manchester United. You've done it before. It would happen again. But it would only happen if Sanchez pushed the deal like Robin Van Persie did. He's got to push the deal and he's got to be totally focused on coming to Manchester United and not, you know, I'd like to go there, but actually if another club comes in, I might go there. Van Persie was adamant it was Manchester United. Arsenal didn't want to sell him to us, but they ran out of options and Van Persie forced that move. So if Sanchez wants to force the move to Manchester United and United are interested in him, of course he can. But Sanchez has come out again, another player, come out with comments in the last few hours and said he's happy in London, he wants to stay in London, and he wants to play for a team with a winning mentality. Well, that's Arsenal out of the way straight away, and the rumours that Chelsea are in with a good shout probably fit in with that. So don't be surprised to see Alexis Sanchez going to Chelsea for somewhere around £35 million because he's only got 1 year left on his contract. So I don't think Sanchez is coming to Manchester United. Of course, I'd welcome him. We did a video on him a couple of weeks ago. Premier League proven, very good player. Any Premier League team would welcome him, but he's probably going to be going to Chelsea. So he's not going to be our big summer signing either. The next one I want to talk about is, well, let's just say Ethan Hobbert says Neymar already said he can't leave Messi and Suarez. So let's deal with the Neymar thing, because the Neymar thing I've purposely avoided. It's been going on for about 48 hours now. Manchester United, €170 million to pay his release clause and then 400 grand a week. Manchester United can afford that. Woodward's got an obsession with Neymar, so anything can happen with Manchester United. Do I think it will happen? No. Would it be our biggest summer signing? Of course it would. It'd be smashing the world record. You'd be talking about £150 million sterling, 400 grand a week. The money there offer, I'm sure, is better than what Barcelona can offer Neymar. It's just whether Neymar wants to leave Barcelona, his boyhood favourite club. And let's be honest, he's playing in a climate that's very similar to Brazil. He's playing with very, very good players. He's playing in a pub league. He only has to exert himself about 10 to 20 times a season. Does he want to come to the Premier League? The climate, the hard intensity? I personally don't think Neymar will. I think United will probably do everything they can to get him. And I think if we did get him, it would be the biggest transfer of the summer. I don't think it will happen. But I just want to throw a little curveball in there. And people will, I know what you're going to say about this. Lionel Messi still not signed a new contract. He's in exactly the same situation as Alexis Sanchez. He's got 1 year left on his contract. So in January, he can talk to anybody he likes for free. For free. And again, if Messi decides to go, and I don't think he will, I think he will stay at Barcelona because he's Barcelona through and through. But if he did decide to go, just like Sanchez has got Arsenal over a barrel, Messi has got Barcelona over a barrel if he decides to go. And as much as people can say, you know, Messi's only late 20s, he's worth 150 million of anybody's money. With 1 year left on his contract, you'd get Messi for about 50 million quid. So he's not going to break the record. He's not going to be our biggest transfer summer signing, even if he did come to Manchester United. And I think it would be City. But let's just keep it out there. We're talking about biggest transfer summer signings this year for this summer for Manchester United. The chances of Messi and Neymar are probably quite slim, but they are worth mentioning. Please drop a like on the video. Get sharing. Get subscribing if you're new. Lukaku, obviously, is the next one. We're talking who's going to be Manchester United's biggest summer signing this summer. We've done Griezmann. I've updated you on the fact that Dimarzio says Bayern Munich are at the top of the queue for him, which is interesting because Dimarzio does speak a lot of sense. And him saying that is concerning if you want Griezmann like I do. However, it's £90 million. Everybody knows it's £90 million to sign Griezmann because that's the release clause. I can't see Bayern Munich paying £90 million. So I would rule Bayern Munich out, and I still think we're top of the list to get him. So, and he is the logical one to break the transfer record and be the big summer signing. And he will be the big summer signing. Even if Hazard goes to Real Madrid for 10 million more, Griezmann's the bigger signing. Hazard's not on the same level as Griezmann. So I said it a few minutes ago that Manchester United's summer signing will probably be again the biggest summer signing in the world, because I can't see anybody out there that's going to go for a hell of a lot of money that we're not going to be in for. I can't see anybody. Verratti, could he leave PSG? I think that'd be 60 million. So yeah, the Griezmann deal probably looks right, but there are a couple of others. Obviously, let me talk about Lukaku first, and there's a couple more I want to talk about, and I've got that big thing I want to talk to you about as well. So Lukaku, I think Lukaku would cost at most £60 million sterling. So he's not going to be bigger than a Griezmann deal or a Hazard deal. It could be Manchester United's biggest summer signing if we don't go for Griezmann, but I don't think he will. I think even if we got Lukaku, we'd get somebody else. And also, I think that I don't see us signing Lukaku. I just don't see us signing Lukaku. Again, it's Jose Mourinho going back on his word. Oh, we've had a comment here from Donald Trump. Remember, you can contribute through the Super Chat option. I know a lot of people do. I'm getting a bit fed up of this. There we go. Live comments is messed up a bit these days. It's Donald Trump. He's contributed £5 to the channel. I'm sure you've got a bit more than that, Donald. He says, we'll sign in some experienced players, but we'll also build a wall to keep out filthy scousers from Old Trafford. Let's make United great again. Fantastic comment. But let's talk Lukaku, and thanks for the contribution. And if you want to contribute to the channel, you can do that through the Super Chat option, which is the $sign. But make sure, if you do contribute to the channel, leave us a question or something like that, because we'll give you a shout out, obviously. The Lukaku deal, 60 million. I just don't think Mourinho is going to go back and spend 60 million pounds on a player that he saw plenty of at Chelsea and decided to get rid of. So I would rule Lukaku out. And for another reason I'm about to come to in a minute or two, Mbappe or however you pronounce it, from Monaco, 18 years just in December. The next big thing, Real Madrid quite like him. So the biggest summer signing could well be Mbappe, and it could be a toe-to-toe, head-to-head battle between Manchester United and Real Madrid, who've expressed an interest. And again, Di Marzio says that Manchester United want him. He's a Cristiano Ronaldo fanatic. He loves Cristiano Ronaldo, so people think that's the reason he's going to go to Real Madrid. However, Cristiano Ronaldo made his name and made his first footsteps into world dominance at Manchester United. So we've got good links with Monaco as well. So he could well come. How much would he cost? He's got 2 years left on his contract, so I would say you'd probably get him for about 60 million sterling, 80 million euro. It could happen. It could happen with Mbappe. Is there anybody else? Is there anybody else other than Mbappe, Lukaku, Griezmann, Neymar, and maybe a Messi at a push that Manchester United that could be Manchester United's biggest summer signing? Nathan says Dybala from Juventus. He could. Mike D is saying, is Dybala a possibility? He won't be too expensive. That's the thing. Would he be our big summer signing? I think he would. If we were going to get him or an Icardi, you'd probably get him for 40 or 50 million pounds. And I think there will be, whether we got them or not, I think there will be a bigger summer signing for Manchester United. I think it will be Griezmann. I can't think of anybody else. I think we might have a go for Verratti, but I don't think we will. And I think it will be Griezmann. It will be £90 million. I think it will be the biggest signing of the summer. And if it's not Griezmann, I think it will be Mbappe for about 70 million. I think that is what Manchester United will sign this summer. I do expect us to go to Monaco and try and get a couple of other players as well. I know, just on transfer news, that there's talk of Jimenez from Atletico Madrid. Centre-back, we spoke about him at Christmas. I think I put him at number 3 in my top 5 centre-backs I want us to sign. I can't remember. I know Lindelof was 5th. I think Van Dijk was 4th. Jimenez was 3rd. Howard was 2nd. And Manolas was 1st. Jimenez from Atletico Madrid, very interesting. Very good player. But I think you've got to draw a line with Atletico Madrid. How many players do you think you're going to get from Atletico Madrid? I think we'd be very lucky to get more than one. And I think that it's going to be Griezmann. I'd like Oblak if De Gea's going to go. We like Saul Niguez. We've mentioned him a lot on this show, and you have as well. And Jimenez is a good centre-back. That's 4 players that I wouldn't argue with any of them coming to Manchester United, but I think we'll be lucky to get one. And if it's one from Atletico Madrid, it's got to be Griezmann. If it's 2 and De Gea goes, it's got to be Griezmann and Oblak, who I think Donnarumma's good, but I think Oblak, you get him in goal and he's just ready. He's a ready-made replacement. He's Champions League. He's a very, very good goalkeeper. Slice of Life 666 made a contribution through the super chat. Thanks for that, pal. He says Griezmann rejecting a club like United due to weather would be stupid from him. Also, do you think Jose Mourinho looks at Fosu Mensah as a defender or a midfielder? I think we're about to find out tomorrow on the preview show when we talk about the West Brom game and whether Fosu Mensah will be involved or not. I don't think he will be involved. And the news is that Fellaini will play. I mean, when did you ever think that we'd be in a situation where we're hoping that Fellaini gets back fit? And Jimenez is a good call, as is Manlas, says Gungshi. Alaba, says Steve Who. Well, he's not going to be our biggest summer signing. Summer signing. Mario Murphy says go and take the dog a walk and have a night off. I've already done that, pal. What I want to talk about is Zlatan. Zlatan goes, and that makes a big indent on whether we are going to sign a striker, and therefore that striker could well be our biggest signing of the summer. With Zlatan, the situation is quite simple. I'm quite disappointed in you lot, to be honest. Not in a nasty way, but I'm quite disappointed because I've always been a massive Zlatan Ibrahimovic fan. Last summer I was doing Zlatan Watch in the Euros, just reacting to that, talking about it. Really wanted him to sign for Manchester United. I knew he'd score loads of goals. His goal to game ratio is better than 1 every 2 games. Fantastic. He's kept that up at Manchester United. He's done exactly what I thought he would. There were people out there saying he won't even score 20 goals this year. He's obliterated that. They've all gone quiet. But it looks like he's going to sign a new contract with Manchester United. He's come out and said that he doesn't leave jobs unless they are finished, and it looks like he's going to sign. There's a couple of concerning things about that because he's on £11 million a year. Some people think that's ridiculous because of the chances he's missed and the fact that he thinks he's bigger than the club, which I'll speak to you about in a minute. Some people think they want him to stay for another year because he guarantees you goals. But the news from Sky Sports was that he's renegotiating his contract. Why are we, if that was true, and I don't think it is, but why are we renegotiating his contract? He's on £11 million a year, and as I understand it, we've got an option on a second year as long as he's happy. So why would we give him more money? Are we going to give him £12 million a year? Because I don't think he deserves a new contract. I think just keep him for another year on the contract he's got. I don't think he's had a good enough season for us to go and beg him to stay and offer him more money to stay. I wouldn't be happy about that. I don't think that's right at all. I think either Zlatan wants to stay on the deal that he's got or he goes. And I love Zlatan. I think he's been fantastic for us. But I don't think we need to be... I would not be happy if we're giving him a pay rise to stay for another year. I don't think we're that desperate. Because the thing that sort of gnawed away at me over the last few months, and I don't know whether you lot agree, is that I'm a big Zlatan fan. I want him to stay at Manchester United, and I really did want him to stay. But I've sort of been listening to what you lot have been saying over the last few weeks, and I think it's gnawed at me a little bit, and I think actually I expected him to go, so that when this news comes out today that he's going to stay, I'm not going to say I was disappointed, but there was a nagging doubt in my mind about the things that you lot have been saying and the concerns I've had, and there's a few really. One is, I think we're better when he doesn't play, in a way, because we're quicker and he can't offer pace. I've seen teams coming to Old Trafford this season and playing a high line. I've never seen that at Old Trafford. They're comfortably playing a high line because they know we've got no pace when Zlatan plays up front. I don't like that. You've got to push, especially at Old Trafford, you've got to push the opposition back and get into their box more. So that's a problem. Also, if I've got to be critical about Zlatan of one thing, he's arrogant. He follows nobody. He is better than everybody. That's what makes Zlatan great. However, I always have a bit of an issue when somebody thinks they're bigger than Manchester United because nobody's bigger than Manchester United. I'm quite firm about that. I see things like free kicks. He's not very good at free kicks. You speak to PSG fans, you speak to Barcelona, Inter fans. He's never been very good at free kicks. He takes every free kick we have. And yes, he scored a great goal in the League Cup final, but he's probably missed 150 odd other free kicks that just go straight into the wall. We're bad enough at corners as it is without giving up free kick opportunities when we've actually got people from free kicks who are dangerous. Mata, Pogba, even Rooney if he's on the pitch, Mkhitaryan. I don't like the fact that Zlatan takes free kicks. I don't like the fact that Mourinho doesn't tell him to stop taking free kicks. And let's not forget, he's 6'5". So even if you're thinking about shooting, you could just dink one into the box and Zlatan's very good in the air. I don't like Zlatan on free kicks. And if he's staying for another year, that needs to stop. It undermines Manchester United. That are we Manchester United trying to win the league, or are we Manchester United Zlatan's little toy to make himself look good? And that's how that free kick thing comes across to me. It's not right. He shouldn't be on free kicks. He's not good at free kicks, and it's almost like it's a bit of an ego thing. I take the free kicks. Well, you're not the best at free kicks. Get into the box. So that just concerns me. But what I would say is if he does stay, he guarantees us 30 goals next year. So I think he's going to stay now. And I think if he's going to stay, that probably closes the door to any Lukaku thoughts or dreams you had anyway. I'm glad he's staying. But what I can't, if you'd asked me a month ago, I was like, yeah, Zlatan's got to stay. Love Zlatan. You've gnawed away at me over the last month. And when he said today, well, he pretty much said that, I'm not going anywhere because there's a job to be finished here. a few things sort of irritated me a bit about it. And it's based on what you lot have been saying, that he's not quick enough. He makes us quite easy to defend against. I don't like what he does with free kicks. It's all about him. But the positives are someone like Rashford and Martial and people like that with Zlatan, the leadership there that we've not had for a few years has been fantastic. So it's an interesting one with Zlatan. Connie N has made a contribution and says the contract is not about the money. Interesting. Aubameyang or Lukaku, they both offer speed and physicality, says Anonymous. Mata should be first choice for free kicks, says Gungshi. I agree with that. Mbappe, Martial, Rashford for years to come, says Ryan Lawrence. I think if Zlatan stays, we're probably not going to be signing a striker. And I think he will stay. Dami Abraham says, don't mind Zlatan staying, but Rashford must play more games. To him, he's ready for the number 9 spot now. And my free kicks are way better than Zlatan, says Indy Tagger. And Christian, he misses clear-cut chances every game. Rooney does have a decent free kick. And if Griezmann comes, he will take the free kick, says Miller91. Well, you'd hope so, but let's be honest, Zlatan, whether you think it's good or not, he does push better players away and bullies the free kicks. Big D, Ibra scores goals, end the story. And James Hughes, he's a leader and great for the young boys. Plus he scores 30 goals a game, which is a very good point. It's a very, very good point. Please subscribe to the channel. We've got over 1,000 of you watching at the moment. Please drop a like on the video. And if you are new, please drop a subscribe. We're very close to 74,000. This is the United Stand. I think you found a fantastic new community. If you are new to the channel, you're very welcome. Get involved. Become part of it. And I just want to tell you as well, we did a poll on this today. This surprises me. Let's not forget, Zlatan Ibrahimovic, one of the best players in world football. We were so pleased when he came to Manchester United. He's had a very good season. I know he's missed chances, but he's had a very good season, right? Okay, so this was a Twitter poll we put out at lunchtime today, and the results might surprise you a little bit. We asked the question, looks like Zlatan is staying for another season, but do United fans want him to stay? Yes, 77%. No, 23%. Now, it's still a big yes, but it's still 23%. I mean, you'd be expecting, 90% really. There's still United fans out there who have their doubts about Zlatan Ibrahimovic. Okay, the one thing we can do tonight, because I did put this on Snapchat, is get some of your Snapchats, and I'm sure they'll be funny as ever. The question was, if you've not joined the show, is who will be Manchester United's biggest summer signing this summer? We've talked Griezmann. Demarcio's saying he might be off to Bayern Munich and they're top of the list, top of the queue. We spoke about Neymar and whether that could happen. Mbappe. We spoke about Alexis Sanchez. Looks like he wants to stay in London and looks like it'll be Chelsea. But let's have a look. Connor, 442.
Yeah, Mark. Without a doubt, Sanchez will be the biggest signing.
He says that Sanchez will be the biggest signing. Doesn't say where. Mark Turner 1.
What happens if we don't sign Griezmann or Lukaku or any other big names and we just sign a couple of average players?
We'll be feeling as depressed as you sound, pal. That's what'll happen, Connor. Ryan.
Mark, you're a disgusting green tooth scrawny little fucking rat. Stupid cunt.
Oh dear, Ryan. And Berda.
Mark. I think we're going to sign a Real Madrid player. I do think it's going to be Varane. I think he's going to be our big summer signing because we need a world-class centre-back.
Good point from Berda88 saying that he thinks we'll sign a Real Madrid player. Varane, probably about £50 million. We might not spend any more than £50 million this summer, and that's something people need to bear in mind. I think Griezmann will sign, but I don't think anybody has ever said it's a done deal. And if Griezmann doesn't happen, there's not a lot out there that's going to cost you £90 million. Verratti would probably cost you 70 if you get him away. Hazard is obviously going to cost a lot of money, but he's not going to come to Manchester United because Mourinho hates him. And away from that, there's a few players that probably cost you 50 or 60 million. The biggest summer signing will be Griezmann if he leaves, or Neymar if he left. But away from that, I think there's a lot of people, probably like the lad there said, that would cost probably about 50 million. Varane. I think Manchester United will spend a lot of money this summer, I do. And let's have a look if anybody else has sent us anything. Harry Bakeley.
Personally, I think United's biggest summer signing will be Antoine Griezmann. However, I would love Alexis Sanchez because he's a brilliant player, and meltdown on Arsenal fan TV would be amazing.
Yeah, it would. Jay Coulthard.
Now, after stepping up to heavyweights to beat David Hay, the WBC have confirmed Tony Bellew will no longer hold his full.
Interesting. Bit of BBC News there. David Curley. Probably Griezmann, but hopefully Icardi, he says. And Hayden Salter.
Young will be most likely. Then Rooney, Darmian, Zlatan, and then...
I think he's talking about players that he'd like to sell. And Jay Barrow.
Mark, I could see us signing Pepe over Varane just because he's older, and Varane is like the future centre back for Real Madrid.
Pepe be cheap as well. Roy Hewitson says apparently Monaco want £130 million for Mbappe. They can dream on. He's got 2 years left on his contract. They're not having that much money. They can dream right on. The real Schwab.
Forgetting that when we got Pogba, Mourinho said that this kind of sum will look small in the future. So I think Neymar's 200 million buyout clauses.
Tyrone Williams doesn't want any Arsenal cast off. Very good point there, actually, from the real Shab. Basically, Mourinho did say that the Pogba deal will not be the biggest. The record will be broken this summer. It's a really interesting comment when you look at it, because he can only be talking about Manchester United breaking it, and then that naturally leads you to Griezmann. The only other deal in world football that I can see might break the Pogba deal is Hazard if he leaves Chelsea. I can't see anybody else in world football currently who's going to leave their club this summer and break the £89 million barrier other than Griezmann or Hazard. And I think Mourinho was talking from a Manchester United perspective, and I do believe it will be Griezmann. Stainer04. Nothing. You maybe close that by having nothing as well. Jack Dowling 12. Alex Sandro. And Stainer04. Just a picture of him smiling. And Connor 442.
Hope it's not Griezmann, Mark. He's shrugged off the ball too easy, and I just feel he's not worth them.
Yeah, well, you hear that a lot about Griezmann. Tanny Fickler.
Zlatan's short term. We need a long term striker to go alongside Rashford.
Zlatan is short term. You can follow us on Snapchat, United Stand MUFC. I normally put a Snapchat out a couple of hours before the show asking you to Snapchat, and then we'll just give them out because we can get through loads because they're really short. The Zlatan is short term. Rashford obviously is his backup. I think we need 3 strikers. People might say Martial's a striker. I think he's more a left winger. People might say Rooney. I think Rooney's definitely gone, as I said last night in the summer. So I think signing a striker this summer would be nice. If Zlatan stays, though, we've already seen this year. I think the problem with Zlatan is this: we're not going to have we're going to have the same amount of games next season as we've had this year, because Europa League basically mirrors the Champions League for games. You play the same amount of games. We might not do as well in the Cup, so we might have slightly less games. The problem Rashford's had this year is that Zlatan plays every week. So even Rashford has struggled to get game time. If you buy another striker and then you've got Zlatan playing every week, which he will demand, where does Rashford and this new striker get game time? Because Zlatan wants to play every week. So if Zlatan does stay for another year, I agree with that previous comment that he's short term. But I don't think we'll be in a position to offer a striker, a decent striker, a route to Manchester United where we can keep them happy, because Zlatan wants to play every week. So maybe we would go for a striker that is... that's where Griezmann would be perfect, because he can play up front, but his best position's are number 10. You can fit him into the team. Or an Mbappe, maybe you could fit him on the team on the left. That is why I think Mbappe is an interesting one, because you could use him out wide. But would we get Mbappe and Griezmann? I don't know, because you're talking about 150 million for the pair, and that's a lot of money. I will do more Snapchats, that's not a problem. Griezmann, whether he's lightweight or not, I don't know. He plays Champions League football, he plays for France, he's played in Spain. I think he's played a variety of football and he's played quite well, so I don't think the Premier League would be impossible for him. And Di Maria did okay, so I wouldn't worry about that too much. I think Griezmann is more than capable, and he will get protected in this league, let's not forget. Referees are a joke. You've only got to look at Eden Hazard. When we played against them the other week, look how he got protected by the ref. So Griezmann should be perfectly fine at that as well. Let's see if we have got any more Snapchats, because people are moaning. And we've got Vanny. Too slow. Cameron Smith.
Either sign Griezmann or a world-class centre-back like Varane or Pepe.
He wants Varane or Pep or Griezmann. It was a little bit quiet, but no worries. Morgan Harding.
I think Blake Williams would be the biggest signing of summer to United or Liverpool.
Don't know what he's on about. Hayden Salter.
Griezmann's and Edward would sign in, but if we could sign Mbappe, that would be brilliant.
He wants Mbappe, Griezmann, and Jaish. Okay.
If Zlatan leaves this summer, will we sign Griezmann and Lukaku in one transfer window? In case you're wondering, I'm Ewan Mata.
Interesting. Nathan Evans, Douglas Costa for me. Let's read some of them because people have sent pictures. Where would you improve the side? Says Ben Murray. We need a centre-back, we need a centre defensive midfielder, and we need a replacement for Rooney. They're the three big positions, I think. Lorenzo says, I think Smalling should be sold, Mark. I disagree, Lorenzo. You knew I'd say that. John Maloney, Mark, can you win the league with Griezmann and Zlatan? We need to find some pace down the flanks. We can win the league. We could have won the league this year. And we definitely could have won the league this year. You look about the chances we've missed. Sam Smith says, sign Saul Niguez from Atletico Madrid for Carrick replacement. It's difficult with Atletico Madrid.
Yeah, well, I think that Zlatan is a great striker, but when you got the likes of Griezmann, you got to go with Griezmann.
That was from Blake the Great. As I said to you, God, it feels like quite a long time ago now. How long have we been live? I need to wrap up in a minute. Atletico Madrid, there's probably 4 players, maybe more, that you would like to sign from Atletico Madrid. Saul Niguez, Griezmann, Oblak, and Jimenez, the centre-back. We'll take all 4 of them. They're not going to sell us 4 players. It's a bit like Monaco. We're not going to get 4 players from Monaco. And I know a lot of people like Fabinho, Mbappe, Bakayoko, Mendy, Silva. The list goes on with Monaco. They've got some really good players. But we're not going to sign more than probably 1 from Atletico Madrid, 1 from Monaco. I really like Mendy, the left back, but a lot depends on Luke Shaw. And I don't believe Luke Shaw's going to go, by the way. So I don't think we'll be signing Mendy. It was just somebody I said at the weekend. I've just got a funny feeling about it, but it's dependent on Luke Shaw going. And I don't think that's going to happen. Zavito says he's Dele Alli an impossible move. We're not going to get anyone from Spurs. They've signed lots of players up on long-term contracts. They are going to get Champions League football, and Spurs players are not going to move away from that. I will predict this for you now if you've got any interest in Spurs though. Spurs will not get in the top 4 next year and they will crash and burn. They are playing their home games at Wembley. There'll be no atmosphere. Everybody who plays them will be revolutionised by playing at Wembley, much like everybody has been at West Ham, and Spurs will struggle for points next year. You've heard it here first. They will not be in the top 4. They will struggle next season. Manchester United have the 3rd best defence in the league. Do we need a centre-half or what? Says Bevis Coke. We do, because our corners, when we get a corner, we are redundant at them. We are rubbish at corners. The only way to improve that is to buy somebody who's very, very good in the air, and the best position for that is centre-back, because we don't need a tall... You don't really get many centre midfielders who are great in the air. It's got to come from your centre back, because the great thing about that is if they're good at the air in attacking corners, they're going to be good in the air defending corners as well. That is why we need a centre back. It's not really about the goals we've conceded. Could we sign Fabinho from Monaco, says Michael J? Of course we could. Of course we could. What about the Ivan Perisic rumour, says Paul Prentice? We'll see. We did a video on it. I think it'd be a very good signing for Manchester United, but we'll see what happens. I love Coca a lot and make a cheeky bid for Cazorla, says Andrew Ellis. And Tottenham are a small, weak club, says Miller91. And Griezmann would improve team chemistry, says Cara Di Pio. And please talk Adnan Januzaj, says Lee Doran. I can talk to you about Adnan Januzaj if you want me to. I want him to leave. He's not good enough. Not good enough. He's had more than enough opportunities. I don't think he's done... people are saying he's doing really good at Sunderland. What? I've not seen it. He's had a couple of good games when he's been pretty much injury free all season. There are some poor sides in the Premier League. He's not Manchester United quality, Januzaj, and he blew it. He had a few good games in his first season. He got his big contract. He thought he'd made it, and he stopped putting the hard yards in. Sent home by Dortmund, and abysmal in a Manchester United shirt for the last couple of seasons. Get rid of him. You've had your opportunities. There's a lad who's never even had an opportunity really in the first team, and he's doing it, ripping it up in La Liga in a crap side. Basically the equivalent of what Januzaj is at a crap side in Sunderland, and he's done very little. Pereira is in a crap side in Granada in Spain, and he's ripped it up. He's been fantastic. So that's the player I'm bothered about this summer. Januzaj, if we can get 5 million for him, get rid. I don't want him taking up any space on our bench or our squad next year. Might be harsh but fair is what I think. Thanks everybody for watching. Really enjoyed the show tonight. Please do drop a like on the video. Subscribe if you're new. We're closing in on 74,000, but we're also closing in on the weekend. Tomorrow night, 8:30, will be our West Brom versus Manchester United preview. It's going to be very interesting because we've got so many players out injured and suspended, but we'll be hitting that hard at 8:30 tomorrow. And it's not just about West Brom. We've got Everton on Tuesday and then Sunderland the following Sunday. 3 games, 9 points. If we don't get 9 points, maybe top 4 is something we need to just park and focus on the Europa League. But there's 9 points for us to go for then. And with City playing Arsenal on the weekend, if we beat West Brom at home, it really does start to look good for us. So thanks everyone for watching. Like I say, please do drop a like on the video. Subscribe if you've found us on YouTube and you are new to the channel. We're growing all the time and it is a fantastic community of people. As per usual, I'm going to applaud you and say thanks for all the Snapchats. Thanks for everybody on the live comments. I've really enjoyed it. And I shall see you tomorrow, 8:30, with a live preview of the West Brom game. Enjoy the rest of your evenings, and we're very close to getting back to football now. And it's going to be fast-paced. So fast-paced. Once the football's back, it's all the way through till the end of May. A game every 3.5 days or something. So fasten your seatbelts. But very exciting after that, and I think it's worth talking about it, and we'll revisit again, I'm sure. Thanks for watching. Speak to you all very soon.